Hello, this is JIGHEAD TV, and today we are talking about lure retrieval methods, different type of lures. Our first video will cover retrieval methods like simple retrieval and twitching. And what I want to say about this, so first we want to talk about the lures. We have to understand that there is three types of lures, which are sinking, floating and suspending. Sinking means the lure will sink. Once you stop it, retrieving it, it will start sinking. Floating, that means it's gonna start floating once you stop retrieving. And suspending, usually it's the mentioned, on the lures there is a codes. It's called F or SP or S. S for sinking, SP for suspending, and F for floating. And SP suspending that means when you're gonna retrieve and you stop, it's gonna stay on the same position, same depth. And it's very essential to understand when you're casting lures what rod to use. For example, this lure is around 19-20 grams. And this rod is 15 to 45 grams, so that means I can easily cast this lure and my rod is not going to be broken by this lure. Some people sometimes do mistakes casting bigger lures. They don't take into consideration the test and the lure weight, and this might damage your gear. So always check what's the lure weight to be precise with your casting rod. And let's go to the retrievals itself. First we're gonna be covering simple retrieval. So the simple retrieval is very easy. It's the essential and the classic part of lure fishing. Usually once you cast, you close the bail straight away. And because if it's not sinking lure, even if with the sinking lures, it's not jig, it's not sinking fast, so it's you don't require additional line for that. So for the simple retrieval, you start retrieving, just slowly retrieving the lure. So it retrieves very slowly, very easily. It depends on the lure, of course, because some lures they have some kind of different action, some kind of different actions. Each lure has like they start playing around like small movements. Some of them have very big movements. Some of them have sounds inside. Some of them have without sounds inside. But for the simple retrieval method, we have three different types. The first one is fast retrieval, which is good for the different type of predators like kingfish, barracuda, and queenfish, trivalis. They like fast retrieval methods. It means you're gonna be retrieving your lure very fast. So it imitates bait fish running from a predator, which wakes up the instincts and makes the predator to attack. The second one is the medium speed. Medium speed also used for the same similar type of fish. And the third one is the slow retrieval. Slow retrieval is usually good for the fish that is living inside the rocks, especially when you come closer to the shore. You retrieve very slowly, so you can feel every movement of the lure on the tip of your rod. Like the action of it will you will feel it, and you go very slowly, because usually slow retrieves provoke fish that live in stones, like groupers, different type of groupers, mangrove jacks, sometimes sherry, the emperors. They used to live inside the rock, and once they see the prey passing slowly, they just come out and grab it. So this is for the slow retrieval method. The second additional part to the slow retrieval, what you can add, is what's called twitching. So once you start, once you cast, you start retrieving slowly, fast, whatever speed, you start retrieving. Once the lure is gaining speed, you start twitching your rod, giving some additional action to the lure. This imitates a injured fish, and you know the action is not of this fish is not very natural. So usually, you know, like predators, they attack injured fish earlier than the normal fish because it gives them more advantage, more chance to catch it. So again, you cast it and you start slowly twitching tip of your rod, just to provoke some kind of attack. There is also a hard twitching. So hard twitching is to make more drastic movements on the lure. So once you start twitching harder, you give them a couple of twitches, one twitch. It depends, on the situation and how you want to play your lure. If it's not biting on simple retrieval or on slow twitches, try some kind of hard twitching, which will give additional action to the lure. Again, with the simple retrieval and twitching method, we can add pauses between the retrieves. So for example, we start simple retrieval method and we pause for a while. If it's sinking lure, it will start sinking more. If it's floating lure, it will start floating a little bit more. So you will give some kind of additional time for predator to attack. And predator might think it's injured fish, it's tired, let me eat it. So you retrieve a couple of times, 2, 3 reels, 4 reels, then you stop. Again you start retrieving, then you stop. So basically it will imitate the fish that is nearly dying but is trying to survive somehow. Same thing you can do with the twitching. So for example, you start retrieving, give it a couple of twitches and then stop. Give it a couple of twitches and then stop. Again 2, 3 twitches, stop. At this point, usually bites happen even when the lure is not moving. If the predator likes the color, it likes the first movement of the lure, it can bite even on the lure which is not moving. Yeah, couple of twitches, stop. Couple of twitches, stop. You can combine these methods. For example, you stopped in the beginning and then you just keep retrieving, and unnatural movement, unnatural actions, one of them can provoke predator to attack. Which lure and what time to use? We have different type of lures, and we have different types of minnows available in the market. We have some kind of twitch baits. They don't have lip, they are twitched on top. Usually they are either sinking or floating. So you're gonna be either twitching it and playing it on top, which requires twitching method because this lure doesn't have its own play. Same thing with the sinking one. Once you achieve the depth you require and then you start playing, twitching it. Then we have jerk baits, different type of jerk baits. These jerk baits are very good for barracudas, for kingfish, also for hamurs, because the depth, for example, the difference between these two lures, you can see from the lips. If the lip is bigger, there is a bigger possibility that this lure is gonna dive deeper. This one, for example, is gonna dive like 1 meter, 1.5 meter, and this one is gonna dive up to 2 meters. So it depends on the situation, which lure you want to use. For example, if I'm trying to, there is waves and the top of the water is not very clear and the action is not that much, the fish is not active, so jerkbait might work because it will go deeper, and if the fish is sitting a bit deeper that day, that means you have more chance catching it. If, for example, there is a lot of action on the top water, there is a big possibility, and the best idea is to use minnows or some kind of stick baits, or even poppers, which are going to make some specific nice action on the top of the water. Again, one more additional advice is to how to retrieve the lure and when to retrieve it, and how to keep your rod. So, for example, let's say your rod position means a lot for a lure. So, for example, let's say if I'm gonna be keeping my rod tip on up like that, that means I'm gonna be trying to pull the lure up. This one is usually used when you're coming closer to the rocks and you don't want to get snagged in the rocks and don't want to catch the rocks with your lure. Then you put your rod tip up. But for example, if you want to achieve maximum depth available for that lure, the best of course is to keep your rod tip down, because once you keep the rod tip down, it's going to be closer to the water and your lure is going to be achieving maximum depth it can achieve. When I come closer to the rocks, I put the tip up and I remove the lure. I hope this helps as a start for the lure retrieval methods. We have additional videos coming up soon with additional different type of retrieval methods. And thanks for watching and stay tuned. We're gonna be back soon.